grainy black and white clip was filmed decades ago in rural Romania and shows a witch floating above an old chapel roof, her long coat hanging straight like a dark pendulum. Her legs don't bend, her hair doesn't move, her shadow drops across the roof even though the sun is behind her. When scientists later scanned the old film, they were shocked to find the shadow didn't match her position, shifting slightly each frame as if something else was floating beside her. Some said she resembled Striga legends, witch-like spirits known for haunting, and everything looks normal until the camera scans the window and freezes on a terrifying face pressed against the glass. Her long hair sticks to the pane like wet seaweed. Her fingers curl lightly, almost playful. Her dark eyes stare into the crib as if she knows something no one else does. People who saw this on camera said she looked like the Bone Woman from Navajo stories, a witch who wanders at night searching for anything weak or unprotected. And the feathers on her head match almost perfectly with old drawings kept in museums, shocking the scientists who reviewed the footage frame by frame. The scariest part is how calm she looks, like she's waiting for someone to open the window. A terrified woman runs straight toward the camera, almost slipping as she tries to stay on the yellow line. Behind her, a giant witch-like creature steps forward with long black hair dragging on the ground. Its thin bone fingers open and close like it's testing the air. Its long red tongue hangs out like a wild animal smelling fresh meat. And yet, the creature moves slowly, almost calmly, the way a wolf studies you before it decides what you are. Some locals say it looks like the Stursiga, a forest witch from old stories that follows people who wander too close to her.
Did you know there's a family in West Virginia that's been intermarrying for generations? Because of that, many of their kids were born with severe disabilities and serious health problems. Some of them can't even speak normally. Their voices sound more like barking. Dear? The Whitaker family has become one of the most shocking and disturbing examples of inbreeding ever documented. Their parents, Lauren and Ray, were first cousins, and just like their ancestors, they continued the tradition of marrying within the family. Out of all the Whitaker children, only one brother was born completely healthy. He's the only one who can actually speak clearly. The rest communicate with strange sounds, almost like growls and barks. With every generation, the effects of inbreeding became more obvious. Both the physical and mental issues got worse, to the point where nobody outside the family wanted to take care of them. Today, the Whitakers live in complete isolation, avoiding all
the airport really making this weird noise. Stop.
The Ethiopian Bible. This is not just a collection of sacred writings. It is the oldest, most complete, and one of the most authentic versions of the Holy Scriptures known to humankind. Yet the question we must ask ourselves is why? Why was this sacred book kept away from the world? Why has it been ignored, suppressed, and hidden from the global conversation about biblical truth? To answer that, let me take you back in time. The Ethiopian Bible, also known as the Ge'ez Bible, was written in the ancient Semitic language of Ge'ez. It contains 81 books, compared to the 66 books in the King James Version and 73 books in the Catholic Bible. Within its pages are books that most of the world has never seen or read. Books like Enoch, Jubilees, The Shepherd of Hermas, the Book of Adam and Eve, and many more. These books are filled with profound wisdom, deep spiritual insights, and hidden truths that explain the mysteries of heaven, earth, angels, and the destiny of humankind. Now, here's where the story gets even deeper. Ethiopia is one of the oldest Christian nations in the world, accepting Christianity officially as early as 330 AD, long before many European nations even knew of Christ. The Ethiopian Bible reflects a tradition of faith that has been preserved, untouched by Roman influence, untouched by the colonial church system that would later control the biblical narrative. And because Ethiopia preserved these ancient texts, they kept a version of the Bible that holds stories and truths intentionally removed from the Bibles we were later given. So why was the Ethiopian Bible effectively banned or ignored by the Western church? The answer is simple but heavy. Control. The truth found in the Ethiopian Bible empowers people, especially black people, with the knowledge that they are directly connected to God's story. It contains the story of Enoch, a man who walked with God, revealing the secrets of the universe. It tells the story of Jubilees, which gives us the original laws and the division of the nations, including Africa's rightful inheritance. It tells of fallen angels, spiritual warfare, and the real origins of humanity, truths that would liberate minds and expose lies if widely known. For centuries, colonizers and oppressive religious systems controlled the narrative to make people believe that God's story was not their story. They pushed a limited version of Scripture that justified slavery, racism, and oppression. They wanted to erase the connection between African people and the divine to ensure that people of African descent would never know the spiritual power, wisdom, and destiny that the Ethiopian Bible reveals. But I tell you today, the time for hidden truth.
The video was filmed during a foggy morning in Michigan when workers noticed a dark figure standing on top of an old water tower, completely still despite the strong wind. Her coat flaps like torn wings. Her hair sticks to the mist. Her arms hang low as if she's listening to something deep inside the fog. When the clip went viral, scientists scanned the footage and were shocked to find no heat signature on her body, even though the tower metal was freezing cold. People compared her to the Irish Banshee, a witch-like spirit said to appear high above the ground before its white eyes don't blink once. Its bald head shines under the porch light. Its teeth show in a grin that feels too happy for a moment like this. The creature taps the glass gently, almost polite, as if asking to be invited in like a guest. Some believe it resembles the Domovoi, a strange house witch from Slavic stories who watches families at night, though this one looks far more terrifying than any drawing found in old books. Scientists who reviewed the recording were shocked that its reflection didn't appear at a remote farmhouse in Kentucky, when a woman heard tapping on her window and filmed a witch rushing toward the glass with her arms stretched out like she was trying to break through. Her hair shoots backward from the speed. Her dress balloons behind her like a parachute. Her face stays perfectly furious as she moves. Scientists who scanned the footage were shocked that her reflection never appears in the glass despite the bright daylight. Some viewers compared her to stories of the Moorland Screamer, a witch said to ram windows the moment the camera turned toward the window. A terrifying witch-shaped figure appeared, walking beside the speeding carriage like she wasn't touching the ground at all. Her skull mask seems carved from bone. Her horns twist upward like frozen branches. Her long dress drags through the grass without slowing her down. When the clip was posted online, scientists scanned every frame and were shocked that her shadow moved faster than her body, something no one could explain on camera. Some viewers compared her to Hel, the Norse figure who wanders the border between life and death, warning travelers who cross her path.
Our plans to land people on the moon again in 2027 are likely going to be delayed again by years thanks to SpaceX's Starship. If you're new to what's happening with the moon right now, NASA wants to build something called Artemis Base Camp on the South Pole. The plan is for astronauts to live and work there for extended periods of time to conduct science and research and technology development. So obviously, one of the most critical components here is actually being able to land people on the moon. We need a lander, not the one that we had in the 1960s. The lander that's currently in development is a variant of SpaceX's Starship called HLS, or Human Landing System. NASA acronyms. NASA recently visited SpaceX to check on HLS because, well, they're paying for it, and unfortunately concluded that they are likely years behind schedule, which puts us at significant risk of losing the moon to China and Russia. So why is it delayed? Well, one of the biggest issues is that the rocket is simply too big to carry all of the propellant it needs to get to the moon. So it's going to require SpaceX to launch potentially dozens of other Starship vehicles filled with propellant to then refuel HLS on its way to the moon. The problem is refueling in orbit is incredibly complex, especially refueling cryogenically cooled propellants. And NASA has said that work has slowed due to competing priorities with SpaceX's own Starship development. Now, we should still see the launch of Artemis 2 early next year. They're targeting February. If you're new here or just need a reminder, that is the launch of 4 astronauts in an Orion capsule around the moon. They're actually going to go farther than any human has ever gone before, but they're not actually going to land on the moon. Artemis 2 is basically Apollo 10, and Artemis 3, in an unknown amount of time, will be Apollo 11.
This planet's ever had. If you had one regret, something you didn't do in your 20s, what would it be? Might have been to do something a bit more useful. Yeah, because I genuinely think that we were the luckiest generation this planet's ever had. Just after the war, Labour government brought in healthcare for everybody, free education. There was full employment, certainly in the 60s. And the rest of the world's in. That's our generation that's really done that. So yeah, maybe just do something a bit more useful.
Oh, how the times have changed. Basic grocery purchases by Kevin McAllister in the 1990 film Home Alone went from $19.83. Today, the same experiment ran a bill over $72 at one Chicago grocery store.
The leap from 2022 to today is wild, but let's look at purchasing power. In 1990, these groceries were $19, and the median household income was $40,000. Fast forward to 2022, the groceries basically doubled to $44, and the income doubled as well. That all makes sense. But in the past year, it went from $44 to $72, which is a 1.6 increase. But yet the income stayed exactly the same. If the income would be keeping up, the income should be $129,000 for the median household income. And what do you know? That is the amount of money that the average American family needs to have a shot at qualifying at the average house. So all this inflation, housing prices, daycare, student loans, consumer debt is all on the rise. And yet income is stagnant. That is a big problem that we need to fix.
This guy in prison, he was dead for 2 minutes. Verified by the paramedics, brought him back to life. He filed an appeal and said, I've served my life sentence. He did. He said, I served my life sentence. I verifiably died. I'm back. Let me out. And they're struggling. It is still in court because they're like, okay, we've got to follow the code here. He did die. Definition is so.
Going to a private institution for a degree that typically does not have the best return on investment.
But I have a passion for this kind of writing.
But
so
is the degree required?
Do you have a degree?
Yeah, I have a degree.
In?
Liberal.
Right. What can we get into?
I don't know. What can you get into? What are you studying?
graphic communications. It's a super basic art degree.
Okay, so unemployment. Got it. We built $75,000 of student loan debt. Say the degree one more time.
I study Shakespeare.
Okay, Shakespeare. Lovely guy. What are you going to do with that?
Well, that's such a complicated question.
Oh, no.
This is where you just have to say, we come from different worlds. You're not going to understand this.
What do you mean?
You won't understand, the precarity and why it's really all right.
What do you mean, though?
Your reaction there was
I studied music composition in college. I was in the College of Arts School of Music, but I asked the job, and you didn't know what to say.
So I have a lot of experience working at writing centers.
Okay.
So I could be there's availability for those kinds of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I also something I really enjoy is working with people who are applying to college.
Have you seen?
If I had to do it over again, knowing what I know
used to be a problem, not just in terms of the piss poor payouts that artists are seeing based off of their streams on the platform every day, and the fact that musicians and fans are continually gaslit and told, hey, because of Spotify, musicians are doing better than ever. Meanwhile, the head CEO of Spotify, Daniel Ek, keeps cashing out on his Spotify stock, putting gobs of cash in his pocket, and then he keeps turning around and investing that money in military tech. He just put over 600 million euros in this 4-year-old tech defense company from Munich, and it just makes you wonder, does this guy care about the world of music at all? He's making so much money off of it, why is he not reinvesting it into the artists that he's making so much cash off of? Instead, he's putting it into war and weapons that are going to kill people. It's just insane to think that this is what your money is going to just for enjoying music. Love that. Awesome. Cool. Isn't tech so great?
Whatever you do, don't check out their profile before bed. I stumbled onto this account by accident, and honestly, it's the weirdest thing I've come across in a while. The more of their videos you watch, the more it gets under your skin. At first, it seems harmless, just two girls making regular clips to music. But here's the part that really creeps you out. In every new video, their height looks different. And not just a little. It's so noticeable it feels like you're looking at completely different people. They go by Evelina and Lola. Judging by the comments, a lot of people can't even make it through a full video, it's that disturbing. Some viewers are convinced the twins planned it all out to freak people out, using subtle, almost invisible tricks that make you feel uneasy without knowing why. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend watching their stuff right before bed. There's something genuinely off
inside
about
your
it.
brain. It commands 50 trillion cells that execute every thought as divine order. Godard discovered that when you internally declare, I am healthy, or I am prosperous, you're not making empty affirmations, but directly programming your biology through energy fields measurable by science. Terminally ill patients cure themselves completely just by assuming the feeling of already being healed, activating dormant longevity genes. Your controlled imagination reshapes your physical reality when you truly feel yourself to be what you desire. Every emotion generates specific chemistry that your cells interpret as executive commands. You govern a microscopic civilization that religiously obeys your dominant perceptions. But nobody teaches you how to consciously assume control of this ancestral power.
Modern medicine has utterly failed by treating you as a defective biological machine in need of external repairs, when in fact, you are the supreme commander of a microscopic civilization of 50 trillion inhabitants that blindly obey your mental commands. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a biological reality that shatters all the foundations of genetic determinism and places in your hands a power that conventional science prefers to ignore. For decades, we have been conditioned to believe that our health, our destiny, and our reality are the products of external forces over which we have little to no control. Defective genes, invading viruses, unfavorable circumstances, all these elements supposedly shape us as passive victims of a random and cruel universe. But this narrative is not only false, it has been responsible for keeping humanity in a state of unnecessary powerlessness. The truth emerging from the world's most advanced laboratories reveals a completely different reality. You are not a singular entity fighting against external forces, but rather an organized multitude of trillions of microscopic beings that respond instantly to the commands issued by your consciousness. Every thought you generate, every emotion you experience, every belief you hold is immediately transformed into specific biochemical instructions that your 50 trillion cells receive and execute with a precision that would be the envy of the most sophisticated computing system ever created. This discovery represents not just an evolution in scientific understanding, but a complete revolution in the comprehension of what it means to be human. When the ancient masters declared that you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, they were not referring to a merely philosophical liberation, but to the practical discovery that we are the direct architects of our own biological and existential experience. The immediate relevance of this understanding transcends any previous medical discovery. If you are dealing with health issues, problematic relationships, financial limitations, or any form of suffering that seems beyond your control, the revelation that you are the ruler of a vast cellular civilization that obeys your conscious directives offers a real and practical way out of these unwanted states.
This clip was filmed inside an abandoned factory in Detroit, and the camera operator said he thought he was alone until a tall, witch-shaped silhouette appeared perfectly centered in the broken window frame. Her hat curves like a sharp blade. Her dress hangs straight, untouched by the wind. Her posture is stiff, like she's guarding something behind her. People online notice that the moment she steps back, the fog behind her thickens unnaturally fast, shocking scientists who scan the footage for environmental anomalies. Some said she resembles the Bell Witch legend, a figure known for appearing silently behind windows before vanishing. Inside an abandoned industrial hall in Poland, where workers found a witch-like creature walking with her head twisted completely backward, as if her body forgot the right direction. Her cracked skin looks like dry riverbeds. Her arms bend at strange angles. Her long hood drapes over what should be her face. When the video was posted, scientists scanned the clip and were shocked. Joints rotated far beyond human limits without breaking. Some compared her movement to depictions of the Hindu pretas, wandering spirits trapped in dismon. Early in the morning, when someone opened their curtains and saw a small witch-like figure standing silently in the field, staring directly through the window with glowing white eyes. Her coat hangs crooked. Her face is round and expressionless. Her footsteps leave no prints on the wet grass. When the clip circulated online, scientists scanned the footage and were shocked that her eyes emitted their own light instead of reflecting it. Some compared her to changeling folklore, creatures that mimic children but behave strangely to lure fog-heavy cemetery in Pennsylvania, when a ghost hunter scanned his camera between gravestones and captured a witch floating perfectly centered between two crosses. Her torn sleeves sway like thin branches. Her mask-like face doesn't move at all. Her breath doesn't fog the air. When scientists scanned the clip, they were shocked her cloak rippled, even though the fog around her stayed still. Some viewers said she matched descriptions of the Morrigan in Irish mythology, a witch-like spirit linked to death in battlefields.
Religion comes from the word. I love, like I talked about sin earlier, to miss the mark. Religion is from the Latin root legare. Legare, to bind together, breathing. Again, religion is about restoration. Got a bunch of spiritual friends who say they're not religious. You know what they're telling me? Is they want unity. Religion means be bastardized along the way. We made it a business. I don't believe that there's the creators of religion, Muhammad and Jesus and God are going, yeah, that's fine. No, there's even stories in the Bible about going, no, that ain't fine. But so we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I just pose the question to us to say, maybe it's not religion we're mad at. Maybe we need to restore that meaning, restore its original meaning, and live that way instead of just accepting what
This said, walk into the room like God sent you. And my confidence is now at an all-time high.
That's wrong.
And I just think that's such a good point. And I love when you tie God into that. Because if you walk into a room with the confidence that God has placed you in that room, regardless of where it is, if it's the DMV, if it's your stats class, if it's your theater class, if it is your first day of work, if you walk in there like God placed you there, how does that change everything that follows after you enter into the room?
Man, this is so good, and this girl's nailed it. I have 4 kids, and if there's one thing that I hope and pray and long for them to learn, more than anything, it's to not care what other people think about them.
Yeah.
And I love what she's saying here. It's really an extremely profound thought to live by. What would your life look like if you lived like this? Get this. God has placed you here for such a time as this, and He has amazing purpose and plan for your life to use you, who you are right now where you're at, in some awesome and amazing ways. Check this out. In Ephesians 2:10 it says this, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." So whether you're going to school today, whether you're going to work or to a friend's house or into any complicated situation, go in there like you truly believe God's got your back.
Amen.
That God goes before you, He goes beside you, He goes behind you, He is in all things. Check out one more verse here in Romans 8:28. It says this, "In all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." So I'm challenging you today, wherever you go, whatever you're going through, go in there like you believe God and believe what His Word says about you. Go in there with extreme confidence, knowing that He has you right where He wants you to be. And if you're ready to walk in this God-given boldness and confidence, then I want you to comment, "God's got me," in the comments. And if this message spoke to you today, be sure and follow, drop a comment, give it a like, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. This has been your dose of daily friction. Love you. God bless.
Some interviews changed everything people thought they knew. In 2024, a reporter interviewed what looked like a normal middle-aged man on camera. Things took a horrifying turn when he opened his mouth. Instead of human teeth, rows of sharp, round fangs appeared, moving like a reptile's jaw. The moment shocked everyone watching. It looked as if a reptile was wearing human skin. The man did not panic. He continued showing his mouth, as if this was his real form. Such a deliberate move proved that reptilians really wanted to show its appearance to the world. After seeing this clip, there is no room for doubt anymore that reptilians are just a conspiracy theory.